So, this morning, as I do, I woke up like a normal human being and went down a rabbit hole. I went down the rabbit hole of looking up statistics of players around the league, and I found a bunch of stuff. Before I get into what I tweeted, the big tweet, I'll show you what I started out with. So, out of pure boredom, I started a thread of players that were rumored to get moved last offseason, or players that were unwanted by their teams that are playing pretty damn good. Tarasenko, Jeff Skinner, Cjethsyt, D'Angelo, Devontae, Evander Kane, the scoring gap in Edmonton, Duchesne, Letang, yada yada yada, like whatever. Sorry, I got a mental mouth. It's what it is, right? So, as I was doing what I do, our boy, Stat Boy Steven goes, all this reminds me of is that Shesterkin putting up Hart caliber numbers in a season where scoring through the roof. And then I got to thinking, you know what? Yeah, Cjeths is having a pretty good season. And you know what I haven't heard in a while? Shesterkin for Hart. So I jumped down the rabbit hole. I did a little statistical looking, some analysis, if you will. I was like, you know what? Yeah. So I made a post. Made a thread, if you will. And this is what I came up with. So, thanks to hockeyreference.com, we were able to see just how impressive Shesterkin is this year. And, it's pretty impressive. As a matter of fact, it's better than that of any Hart-winning goaltender in the last 30 years. On top of that, this could very well be, individually, the greatest season by a goaltender in NHL history. Most of you are like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Really? Why don't you sit back, relax, eat a Mento like I just did, and look at the numbers. So, there have been 4 Hart-winning trophy goalies in the last 30 years. Carey Price, Jose Theodore, and Dominik Hasek twice. Let's start by looking at the NHL goals per game versus a goaltender save percentage. NHL goals per game, what that statistic is, the average amount of goals scored in a game. So every single game that was played that season, you add up all the goals, you divide by the amount of games played between all the teams, and that's how you get your goals per game average. In the year, Carey Price won the Hart Trophy. He had a .933 save percentage, and the NHL average goals per game was 2.73. When Jose Theodore won it in 2001-2002, he had a .931 save percentage. The NHL average goals per game was 2.62. In Hasek's back-to-back years, he had a .930 and a .932, with the NHL goals per game being 2.92 and 2.64. Igor Shesterkin, sitting at a .936, with the NHL goals per game average is 3.14. If you want to be like super statistical about it, let's put him against Dominik Hasek's .930 save percentage season, because that has the highest goals per game. So, you take Shesterkin's 3.14 goals per game, NHL average, divide that by the NHL average goals per game, 2.92, and you're looking at a 7.5% higher scoring rate around the NHL. 7.5% on the whole league. And if you go the furthest, there was 2.62, 3.4 divided by 2.62, you're looking at a just about 19.8, 20% jump or difference in scoring. So, right off the rip, you're comparing him to putting him in the NHL today versus years past. His numbers are already better. That's not even looking at the fact that his save percentage is higher than them in a year where the NHL on average is scoring more goals in a game. If that's not enough to convince you, I offer you this. The league average save percentage. So every goaltender that played a game, their save percentage, added up, divided by the number of goaltenders, versus the Hart winner's save percentage. So basically what you're doing here is you're taking the highest number, and you're comparing it to the average number. So in 2014-2015, like we said, Price posted a 933. Very impressive. The league average was a 915, a difference of .018. Jose Theodore in 2001-2002 had a 931, as we said. The league average was a 908, a .023 difference. Hasek in 96-97, a .025 difference when his 930 was posed against a 905. Hasek 97-98, a 932 compared to the league's 906. That was .026 difference. Igor Shesterkin, a 936 compared to 907, a .029 difference. So, not only is he outperforming goaltenders in terms of goals per game versus save percentage, not only is that more impressive, but he is statistically more of an outlier in his save percentage to any of the other Hart-winning goalies in the past 30 years. So he's more of an outlier. He's already above and beyond them. I don't know why Shesterkin has fallen out of the Hart race trophy conversation as much as he has. It doesn't make any sense to me. As a matter of fact, I would say it's kind of bizarre. These two numbers alone put Shesterkin in a category of the most dominant year for a goaltender in NHL history. Yet, because he had a 2 or 3 game stretch that took his save percentage from like a 942 to a 935, now back up to a 36, he's no longer the talk of the league. He's no longer the number one candidate unanimously. He is now just a candidate. Is that not kind of crazy to you? At the very least, for Igor Shesterkin, we could say that he would, will, and should win the Vezina Trophy this year. But, in my opinion, looking at these two numbers alone, these two sets of numbers, he should be the Hart candidate and the Hart winner this year. Again, the statistics I pulled these from was from HockeyReference.com. The NHL Hart Memorial Trophy winners by year. You see Carey Price at 14-15. You could see Theodore 01-02. Hasek in back-to-back years. And then, I don't know if there was another goalie that won the Hart Trophy. You had to go all the way back to 1961-62 for Jacques Plante. So you have to go back over half a century to find another Hart Trophy winning goaltender. And then the NHL league averages. Here's your NHL goals per game. So, obviously for Carey Price, 14-15, that 273. Jose Theodore, 262, and your back-to-back years for Hasek, 292 and 264, or 95-96, 3.14, same as where we sit now. So this is in terms of the NHL being a scoring league again, it's the most goals scored in a season in a quarter of a century. Because, where is that? Yeah, 26 years, it's going to be 26 years, a quarter of a century, over a quarter of a century since the NHL has scored as much. And Igor Shesterkin is putting up the best numbers since then as a goaltender. If you go to NHL.com and you look at just individual statistics by player, actually, no, we should have done league leaders. That's my apologies on that one. We go right to league leaders. When we take a look at goaltenders, Shesterkin has the best. Now, goals against average is a good way to read a goaltender. I think save percentage is slightly better. I know there's more, there's advanced metrics you can use to look at goaltenders. I'm not too familiar with them. I'm not exactly sure how to read them. I'm not going to pretend like I do, so I'm not going to throw those in your face. But just the basic numbers, the shutout save percentage and goals against average. He's got a .14 lead in goals against average against Freddie Anderson, who's the goaltender for, I think, the second or third best team in the league right now, the Carolina Hurricanes. His save percentage is 10 points better than the guy in second place. I believe Ilya Sorokin. So actually, let's do this. Hold on, sorry. If you pull up Sorokin's numbers versus Shesterkin's numbers. So again, Sorokin's got a 926. Sorokin this season has faced 1577 shots. I think Shesterkin has faced maybe 100 or so. So about the same amount of shots. So pretty much the same amount of shots. And his save percentage is 10 points higher. If you want to go one step further, Freddie Andersen, about 100 less shots, yet the point difference in terms of save percentage is 14 points in favor of Igor Shesterkin. Is that not crazy? And Freddie Andersen has played more minutes than Shesterkin. So Shesterkin is facing more shots per 60 than Freddie Andersen is. So not only is his save percentage higher, but he's facing more shots in Moss. He's facing more shots every single game than Andersen is, and his save percentage is higher. Now, obviously, that should be the case. If you're facing more shots, you should make more saves. But it also speaks to the caliber and quality of a goaltender. You're facing more shots and you're making more saves. You're in the NHL. You're playing against the best players in the world. Statistically, when you face more shots, you're giving up more goals. Shesterkin really isn't. He's given up 102 goals on 1,586 shots. Andersen's given up 111 on 1,431. Tell me this is not one of the most dominant seasons by a goaltender in NHL history. The only big category Shesterkin's not leading in is shutouts. Because he doesn't really get very many shutouts. He faces so many damn shots, and yet he still has 6 of them this season. 6 freaking shutouts. Is that not crazy? And if we're gonna speak to the New York Rangers as a hockey team, so this was sent as a tweet, a reply tweet. I gotta find. Okay, I'm not gonna pretend like I know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you read this, it gets deeper if you look at it. The Rangers are at 47%. Basically, the way you read Corsi is like this. It's Corsi, if I remember it correctly, is how many shots your team takes when you're on the ice versus how many shots the other team takes when you're on the ice. So if you're looking at it from an individual player's perspective, I think Panarin's Corsi is like a 58%. So when Panarin's on the ice, the Rangers are taking 58% of the shots and giving up 42% of the shots. If you're looking at the game as a whole, it's basically what it is you're outshot, and you're outplayed, and you're out this, that, and the other thing. The Rangers periodically are getting dominated until the post-trade deadline in every single category. So in other words, Shesterkin put the New York Rangers on his back and carried us to the freaking finish line. Where this speaks even bigger volumes is if you go to goaltender goals against average, we're actually going to look up one particular goaltender who also plays for the New York Rangers and is thought to be a pretty decent goaltender, Alexander Georgiev. Alexander Georgiev for the New York Rangers is actually a pretty decent goalie. I think if you look at his fancy stats, he's actually just about an average, maybe above average goaltender. Has a less than 900 save percentage and a goals against average of almost 3. The Rangers are that bad. Yet Shesterkin is putting up the greatest numbers by a goaltender in the past 30 years. If you need any more convincing, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. I'm sorry. If you disagree with me, you disagree with me. Take it up with me in the comment section down below. I will gladly expand on this conversation. I wanted to share this video, share my thoughts, and share these numbers I found with you guys. You guys comment down below. Do you think Igor Shesterkin is undoubtedly the #1 Hart candidate? If you don't believe that, do you think he should be? You guys comment down below. Appreciate you all watching. If you don't follow me on Twitter, please do so at Cjethsyt. I'm always looking to increase my engagement on there. It's fun. It's fun talking with Rangers fans, and you guys coming along. I'm really excited to get this conversation going. Hopefully this gets a little bit of movement, and some of the hockey writers that vote on these damn trophies, which I don't know why writers vote on it, and I think it should be players that vote on it. If some of these writers see this, maybe they'll change their mind and they will cast first place ballot votes for Igor Shesterkin, because I think he deserves it, and I think these numbers prove that. But you guys let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.